Good morning, Steve Free in Chicago with the morning grain comments. Have a mixed trade overnight with wheat taking some profits, corn a little bit lower, while beans are trying to be a little bit higher. Outside market stocks are rallying. Some people think that we're seeing some profit taking in the stock market after the recent losses in front of today's critical Fed meeting. We also noted that the Ukraine defense minister said that there's no imminent chance of Russia invading Ukraine, and that told the people to sleep tight overnight. That might be also helping stocks and weighing on the wheat market. As far as history is concerned, in 2014 during the Sochi Olympics, there was no invasion during the Olympics, but shortly after the Olympics, Russia did invade Crimea. So Vladimir Putin is expected to be at the opening ceremonies February 4th at the Chinese Olympics. So doubt if anything happens between now and then we'll have to watch after the Olympics to see what is the next step. We also note that next week is the Chinese New Year, the Year of the Tiger, and I think that the Chinese are probably winding down any trade until after the New Year. I think the market wants to see increased global demand for U.S. corn and bean exports because of the lower South American crops. And until then, it might be hard to push a lot higher than $14 beans, $6.20 corn, or the $8 wheat. U.S. plains weather still looks the same, dry. Much of the U.S. Midwest is cold this morning. Coldest day probably in the short term. Should see some slight warming. In South America, it feels like the weather pattern has changed. Argentina's gotten some good rains while they keep saying that 40% of their crop area is still in drought. So for the Argentina late planted crops, a better weather could help slow the decline in crop production there. Some people think there's already irreversible damage. Paraguay, western Brazil, southern Brazil soybean crop, and the first smaller corn crop. But if there is a pattern change, some late planted beans and even the second safrinha crop could actually improve. The northern Brazil yields are still coming in lower than expected, with quality also a question, with some green beans in with some of the other better beans. We did note that domestic corn prices in Brazil is $7.80. The Dalian futures made new highs overnight at $11.15. These are all-time highs for the corn. So corn margins as far as imported corn in China are very good. We also noted that the market's going to start asking for ideas on what the USDA might say in the supply and demand report in February. And also today we should get some updated acres for US 2022 from crop consultant Informa. As always, these are my thoughts and not those of ADM Investor Services. Have a safe and profitable trade day. And remember, always treat people like you yourself would like to be treated.